Manchester United 1, Leicester City 0. Another clean sheet, another good display defensively from Manchester United. Great control of the match in the first half. And still some improvements to be made. Still some elements of their game that need to get better. Still some elements of the game that Man United fans will want to see go to that next level. But after such a disastrous, uninspiring start to Erik ten Hag's campaign, a lack of signings, goals going in left, right, and centre, nobody working hard, no team shape. It's been a brilliant response from these lads. Jadon Sancho picking up his second goal of the season, almost equaling the only three managed last year. Varane, Lisandro Martinez with another excellent performance in the centre-back positions together. Malacia going from strength to strength. And Christian Eriksen controlling that tempo. Casemiro making his cameo appearance, showing everybody what he's still got. And we did get better in the attack when Ronaldo went central and Rashford back out on the wings. There's more to come from this Manchester United team, no doubt. But 3 wins from 3 since that devastating defeat to Brentford. Smash that like and that share button. Subscribe to the Football Terrace. Let's go. Welcome back to the Terrace. Listen, not the most scintillating performance you're ever going to see. Not the best football you're ever going to see. And there's lots more to come from Man United. But after we were battered by Brighton and absolutely humiliated and destroyed by Brentford, I was just hoping for a win. I was just hoping that Man United could string 2 passes together. I was hoping that Man United could put a little bit of pride back into the city and back into the Man United fans all around the world. And we've had that in the last 2 games. The Liverpool performance just over a week ago now, week and a half ago, was scintillating. A professional performance against a tough Southampton team. And then tonight, a Leicester team that really gave us a lot of opportunities in the first half. And I think the only element tonight that I'm not satisfied with is probably the amount of times Man United could have put this game to bed and we didn't. We had so many opportunities to thread the ball through. It was like the amount of times Rashford particularly, Langer did it a bit. Eriksen, in fairness, in the second half, could have just played that final ball. Even right at the end, Ronaldo could have played Bruno through one-on-one. We could have got the second goal and it would have been more relaxing. And you always run the risk when you're only a goal ahead of conceding late or, a sloppy goal being conceded and you throw the performance and the points away. But Man United fans will be happy with this. We can see a defensive stability coming into this team. We can see some good moments of play. And there was a difference when the likes of Casemiro came on. More quality is needed. Much more improvements are needed by this Manchester United team. I don't think that can be denied by anybody. But it was a serious improvement from what we've seen in recent times. There's no doubt about it. And again, I'm not going to be jumping from the rafters. I'm not going to be screaming that we're back. I'm not going to scream that we're going to win the league because all of that is crazily premature. Crazily premature at this. 1 second here. Crazily premature at this moment in time, but it's a win, and I'm going to take the win. I'm going to smile, and we got the job done, and we go on to Arsenal now, which we know is going to be a tough game. We know it's going to be arguably one of our hardest games that we could have at this early stage of the season because they're the best team in the league. They're playing at a scintillating pace. Every pass, every tackle, everything they try seemingly comes off at this moment in time. And United will need to be better in possession. We will need to be less wasteful and more ruthless as and when we garnish opportunities or openings. That needs to improve. But if we can keep our shape, we can be as defensively strong as we were tonight. There's always a chance against Arsenal. As I say, the best team in the league right now. A super chat here says, happy for the win. Disappointed that United didn't push for more goals. Leicester was there for the taking. Yeah, I agree with that. And you look back at this game, and if you watch it back and you'll think, you should have scored 2 or 3 more. The only real moment of quality where everyone was quality together in the attack came from that goal. Good touch and pass from Delo. Bruno, this is one of his best attributes. He knew he made a beeline. He made a run to get into that space because he saw it ahead of time. He turns, good through ball to Rashford. Rashford actually, when he doesn't overthink, just one touch out his feet, made the pass to Sancho, who gets his goal. It was brilliant. But in the second half, there was 4 or 5 opportunities like that very early on, and we just didn't capitalize. And maybe we got a little bit lackadaisical. maybe Leicester sloppiness kind of rubbed off on us as an example. Sometimes you need your opponents around you to be of a higher standard to help you. But yeah, I think Man United, the good thing is we didn't rue those missed opportunities, and there's still areas to improve. And that's why, I'm seeing some people say we're back, and listen, calm that kind of talk down. United are nowhere near back, but in my opinion, we're a couple of years away from even being able to talk about being back. But after losing the opening three games of the season, the way in which we did, listen, I'm taking this every single day of the week. And on top of taking it every single day of the week, I was frustrated during the games. I wanted more goals because I just do. But, and I want to say this because I mean it, I would rather our rebuild and I'd rather the progression stem from a solid defense than a brilliant attack that's conceding lots of goals. The defensive unit is the most important part of Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp's teams. When Chelsea were getting to those finals, winning the Champions League, their defensive unit was their most important part. The greatest manager of all time will tell you, goals win you games, defenses win you titles. And that's the one thing I'm really proud of. We look very solid. We had both fullbacks on yellow card. Neither of them did anything silly. I think with Casemiro shielding them and that back line playing together more, it's great. And listen, Leicester not in great form. I get that. But it's really nice to see David De Gea not being peppered. That goalkeeper has been, like, as much as he's made mistakes and a lot of us think it might be time for him to go, I do feel sorry for David De Gea because during his pomp, during his best years of his career, he had some of the worst Man United midfields and defenses in our history in front of him that never gave him any protection. It was always him. Didn't he win like Player of the Year like 4 or 5 times in the last decade? Like, that's crazy. So it was nice to see that tonight. But I'm not going to get carried away. I'm not going to go over the top. I need more of this. I need this better. I need us to grow from here. But I always talk about this and I use this phrase, green shoots. There are green shoots of hope in elements that we're seeing. Controlling of the ball in parts of the game. Good defensive stability. Playing out from the back. We just need Casemiro to be integrated. Of course, there's the brilliance of Antony to come on that right-hand side. And I do think we need some wide players who want to beat people, who enjoy it. Rashford still hasn't got that element to his game back, although he is starting as a central striker, and he's just not that good at being a central striker. Everything looked better with Ronaldo through the middle and Rashford on the left-hand side. So Antony and Casemiro being integrated is going to give us a little bit more. And look, Ronaldo will get back into this team. Let's have it right. He will eventually be starting the majority of these games. And of course, Anthony Martial returning will also be another string to this team's bow. We looked good when he came on centrally against Liverpool. So there's still some missing pieces from this team, as with a lot of the other sides. And, as a Man United fan, I'm just happy. Like, transfer window ends tonight. It's been a brilliant midweek's worth of games. And yeah, I'm happy. I can't remember. I looked at the stats. It's been a year since Man United won 3 games on the bounce. The season before that, I think we only did it twice. And it was 2 seasons ago where we won 4 on the bounce. We actually did 5 on the bounce. So look, we might not do 4 on the bounce because we're coming up against Arsenal next, but it's a rarity. It's as rare as rocking horse shit for Man United fans to see their team win 3 games on the bounce. In fact, it's even rarer to see 2 clean sheets on the bounce. 1 goal conceded in their last 3 games. Barely any gilt-edged chances, in those matches. Southampton had a couple. So, the best chance Leicester had tonight was a very good free kick, well saved by David De Gea. So, yeah, onwards and upwards from this point. 5th in the league as well. Listen, I predicted 7th. Stop the league now. I take that. I take it with where I thought we'd be just 2 weeks ago. So I'm only joking. Look, this team will progress and this team will move forward, and we'll see what they do. Let's go to some more of your comments here. Then we're bringing on Dizzy, Tom Little, KJ joining us. Martinez and Varane look like they've been playing together for a long time, longer than 3 games. Will be great to see the defense against Arsenal. Be a great game. I mean, that's an acid test, isn't it? It's an absolute acid test. Arsenal are getting towards 3.5 years or so into their rebuild. The way the manager plays. So there'll be a hardest test of the season so far. We all thought Liverpool were going to be, but they've not quite been at their best. The best team in the league right now have been Arsenal, so it's a massive test for them. Interestingly, having Casemiro in the side, and you saw a difference when Casemiro came on, the way he could progress that ball forward. He did lose it once, but some of the passes he made, McTominay can't make them. Fred can't make them. They were just quick, one touch, ball out of his feet, and he's making a decisive, well-weighted pass, and we need some more of that. Rashford was awful and lazy, didn't pass at all, but I guess it won't be mentioned because he is not named Ronaldo. Honestly, I wouldn't call Rashford's performance lazy. I think he was poor with his first touch and that final ball in that second half. There's no doubt about it. You're not going to see me defend him in relation to that. But overall tonight, you know, you know, he won the most aerial duels on the pitch for Manchester United. He completed the most crosses. You know, he had the most he created the most chances. So he had some element of impact. But he is an inside forward. He is not a centre forward. And there's two players out. One was trying to leave the club, the other injured. So Rashford's been moved into a position that is not his. So I can forgive him not being great as a centre forward. The manager we need to get Martial back quickly and or Ronaldo back into this team. But yeah, he wasn't great in that role. I don't like him in it. He isn't suited to it. You know, he really isn't suited to it at all. What's wrong with Rashford's attitude? Or did you think there's something wrong with Rashford's attitude? Again, I didn't see that personally, but if you did, I completely respect that opinion. Delo defended well today. With coaching and confidence, he will get. We can get by with him for now. I agree. It's more his touch at times. There's a few times where we could have countered, and he kind of overhits the ball, overruns it. He wasn't the only guy tonight. There was a lot of them, to be fair. My eyes were bleeding watching Bruno, Rashford, and Elanga having a combined IQ of 30. Ronaldo did more in 20 minutes than Rashi and Elanga did in the entire match. Well, Rashford set the goal up. So that's not strictly true, is it? But Ronaldo is a centre forward and Rashford's an inside forward playing out of his position. And on Bruno, look, okay, Bruno gave the ball away at times today. I don't know how many times. I'll go and check for you if you want me to. But he was one of our better performers tonight. And I don't know what people expect from him. You know, he was excellent in the approach play to our goal. But you guys tell me what you expect. I mean, I didn't necessarily think he was that bad tonight, Bruno Fernandes, but maybe that's just me. I mean, the level of scrutiny that he gets, I think it's unprecedented, like no other player that I've ever seen in my life. Like if every ball doesn't come off, if every pass doesn't come off, that there appears to be like absolute meltdowns from people surrounding him. But again, maybe that's just, you know, maybe that's just me, you know, maybe I'm wrong. You know, it's one of those things. But, you know, I didn't think he was that bad tonight. I didn't think anyone in the team was amazing throughout. You know, I thought Eriksen had a brilliant first half, got the man of the match, I think, from BT Sport. But then he was giving the ball away too much in the second half. You know, Sancho scored his goal, but he also had moments in the game where you're like, oh, why didn't you make that run? Or why weren't you touch a little bit better? The team needs to improve, there's no doubt. But you've got to remember, like, people seeking perfection from this team or focusing on players they dislike at this stage is crazy. One of our better performers tonight, I actually thought, again, first half, not so much second, Scott McTominay, I thought he had a good game, some decisive breakings up of play. But again, faded in the second half, like a lot of the midfield and attacking players. And we want to see an improvement from them, no doubt. 3 wins in a row. The key in this success stems from the organization structure from the team. Goal came from a tackle. Excited to see with Anthony. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I'm really excited about seeing Anthony added to this mix and what else that brings. And, you know, again, I don't think he's right now, personally, what I would do is I would, if everyone's fit, I'd start Martial as the striker. I'd drop Rashford to the bench and Elanga to the bench and bring in Anthony and then have Martial with Jadon Sancho on the left. That's what I would personally do. So I'm not overly defending those players. They've got to improve, but I think some people online are just so used to being angry with particular players. They win 3 on the bounce and they're still moaning. It's crazy to me. Excited to see Anthony spice up our attack is what DR's got to say. Yeah, and he's certainly going to do that. He's certainly going to do that and give United something different. Clueless Drifty said Sancho, the worst player on the pitch against them. Did he see the amount of piles of crap they were playing? Yeah, listen. Drifty would have just been salty. Sancho's had a very good start to the season. I'm happy because look, he has to do a lot more. He has to, if he continues in the vein of form he's been in, you know, by the end of the season, he can no longer be called a flop. And I'd love, you know, that big list of players that cost £70 million more. Most of them have a red cross next to their name for not actually like achieving the standard based on the price. I'd love Sancho to be one of the players where we say, actually, he isn't a flop. So keep it going, please, Sancho. But I'm going to bring the boys out now to have their say. KJ, Tom Little, Oh My Dizzy are going to be with me on the show. Make sure like buttons are being smashed. Make sure you're subscribing to the Football Terrace as well. Let's do this. Welcome back to the show,
Hey.
gentlemen. Another win for Manchester United. Another three more points, which is always welcome. Give me your thoughts, KJ.
Yeah, people are a bunch of haters, bro. That's what people are. People are a bunch of haters. How can you watch that game and just crap on Rashi for the entire of it? Like he did nothing. Like, I don't get it. Like, he actually had a decent game. He's not a striker. We know he's not a striker. But he was putting himself about. He was winning headers. He was actually linking up play. Was it the greatest all the time? No, it weren't. But it's more from what we've seen of him in the past like year and a half. That goal that we scored from the ball that he played through a year ago, last season, he's trying to take that on and shooting himself and we don't get a goal. So he's actually learning. He's actually trying under Ten Hag. And people just love to just crap on this guy. Even everyone just calling him trash for no damn reason. What did he do? What? He wasn't a 10 out of 10. So you have to trash on him. This is what annoyed me. I was enjoying. I like this win more than the last two wins that we had. Because I started to see progression in the way that we was playing. The things that we was trying to do. And all we do, revert back to type as Man United fans. They go on and absolutely just crap on the players. Oh, Bruno didn't do this. Bruno didn't do that. Well, what about Eriksen? He faded away. Sancho scored a goal. He faded away in the second half. Everyone's so focused on Rashford because he stayed longer on the pitch. But what was Sancho doing afterwards? And I love Sancho. And I thought he was very good today. But I also thought Rashford's very good today because guess what? We are a team that's trying to build. We can't expect 10 out of 10 performances every flipping week when the new manager just got here and these guys are just trying to rebuild confidence. It don't make no damn sense. People literally need to relax. Rashi played well. Sancho played well. Bruno played well. The only person that I didn't think played the greatest was my guy Anthony. You know what I'm saying? Alanga wasn't great today, but he's young and he's learning. Like everyone, we just played well. We weren't great, but we weren't amazing. But we could see what was going to be happening in the Tengai in the future. You could see, if we just whack Anthony on the right-hand side, we could see what he could bring. You can see what Ronaldo could potentially bring into the team. I don't think he becomes a guaranteed star every week like Terry does, but hey, you can see what he could bring. You can see what Anthony Martial could bring. You can see what Donny could bring if he played next to Casemiro. Like, you actually can see stuff. So as Man United fans, I don't know why we are all here just gunning for our players after we've just won 1-0 when it could have been 3 or 4. Like, I don't know, but I'm happy with the win, bro.
Listen, I agree with you 100%. Happy with the win. The level of negativity is crazy. There's a guy, I'm not going to call him out. I saw on Twitter and he's like, see, I told everyone when you drop Maguire, we improve. I'm like, yeah, but your tweets used to say things like there's a special place in hell for Maguire, Rashford, and McTominay. These British players have got to do one. And the other two were on the pitch tonight for the performance you were praising. It's almost like people. I think people are like, I knew this would happen if particular players that were that were in the hated category were getting game time, were being used by the new manager. They know they can't go at Ten Hag. It's too early. No one on social media will agree with going at Ten Hag. So it's like, I've got to find a way. And Bruno's still losing the ball. Listen, I think Man United fans got to wake up and realize this. Even Bruno will get back to his best form in terms of creation and goal scoring under Ten Hag. I truly believe that when the team finds itself, he will get back to his best. That's what being in a good team is all about. And, you know, if you need everyone pulling together for it to kind of work out. The irony is when Bruno was at his best for Man United, that was when we had our highest win percentage. So it wasn't just his goals, it was the overall team performance was there, right? But I think we've just got to come to an acceptance with Bruno that even at his best, there's going to be 2 or 3 times in every game where you go, why did you play it to the left when you should have gone to the right? That's just him. And the irony is, now, I don't think he's as good as this player. But a lot of these guys love players like Neymar who would score goals, create things, but still infuriate you 4 or 5 times in a match where it's like, bro, why did you try to trick them when a simple pass would do? Some players just do. And the irony is there are some fans who hate that kind of footballer because they're like, just keep it simple and don't lose the ball. It's a preference thing. This is how Bruno plays. I knew he was going to. He isn't just being picked by the new manager that you're all saying is brilliant. He's been made the captain by the very manager, that you all pulled your boys out to and knocked one out over when he signed. That manager's made him captain. Just drop your agenda. That doesn't mean you can't criticize, but it's not criticism of Bruno. It's an agenda. It's an agenda right now. He's been very good in the last 3 games. Overall play, driving the team forward. Everyone's asked for leadership. Have you seen him screaming and moaning as much as he used to? Like
No.
the things that annoyed us are going away. So I agree. We're going to come to Tom in a minute, but Dizzy, what did you make of it? I want to say this to you as well. What did you make of the defensive display tonight from the team?
Bro, I don't want to say I told you so. I don't. But the thing that was the problem that was frustrating me so much about United last season was the defensive structure. I came on basically after every game we lost, and I said this defensive structure just doesn't work. Luke Shaw, Maguire, who was it? Lindelof, Wan-Bissaka, and McTominay and Fred in front of him. It didn't work, bro.
Listen to it, man. Listen to it.
And the crazy thing is to start now we've started the season, we've dropped basically all of them. So now we have Malacia, Martinez, Varane, Dallo, and Dallo looks pretty good as well, might I add. And the crazy thing is I have to take something back about McTominay because the past three games, he's played really good. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think obviously there's still room for improvement in bringing in Casemiro, but again, in backing a manager, you have to drop your agendas and all your biases. And if you don't like McTominay or you want Donny van de Beek to play ahead of Bruno, whatever the case may be, it's a case of, bro, the manager keeps picking him. He must be picking him for a reason. He's seen something that we ain't seen on the training pitch. But yeah, man, I'm so happy about the defensive unit. I love Malacia. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Him and Martinez are two of my favorite players at United right now. Him, Malacia, and Sancho right now. They're my guys right now.
Boy, don't forget about Champions League. Well, Europa League Varane, bro. That will be him this season.
Those two together, there was a mistake today where I was really impressed. Lissandro was driving through, and this is why tonight I know Rashford and Bruno and Elanga misplaced some passes, but I saw everyone do it tonight, including the players we're all in love with at the minute. Lissandro, he drove through. That was a hard bit. Simple pass he had to make to Sancho. And he undercooked it. And then there was a hole at the back, and Varane was in the right place. Those two together, it's 3 games, and I'm not getting carried away, and I'm not going to do anything stupid by going, oh, they could be like Vio and Riddich. Let's not even mention that. They're arguably the greatest centre-back pairing in Man United's history, if you look at what they won and the records they achieved in football. But there's a partnership there. They get on together, and that's the difference between this. This is why I still think there's a lack of cohesion in this team. Part of it is quality. Will Scott McTominay ever become the best ball progressor in the world? No, but it's about relationships. And I think that when Anthony comes into the team, Casemiro starts more regularly. When we decide, I still don't think the manager's decided exactly where he wants Christian Eriksen to play as of yet. Is it going to be Fred that starts to come back in, and him and Casemiro's job? We need to start developing partnerships that work together. Interestingly, Martial centrally and Rashford on the left is a brilliant partnership that works. They get each other, and that's what it's about. And I'm going to quote the late great Sir Alf Ramsey. If you don't know who he is, you've got to stop watching football. England's manager when we won the World Cup, just so everyone knows, in case you're wondering. You never pick your best players, you pick your best team. And a big part of that, look, the FIFA Ultimate Team creates this. It's the chemistry bars. If you want a modern day equivalent of what I'm talking about, who works best together? And you know what? If McTominay and Casemiro starting as a double pivot is the best combination, that's who you pick. It doesn't matter if there's 3 players you think are better than McTominay. It's about, I know, yeah, but you're putting the same face as me. I'm making an example.
Yeah, the analogy is right. The analogy is correct. Yeah.
And equally with me, if for instance, if we play a few games where Bruno's on the bench and Eriksen plays the 10 role and we're better, do you know what you'll see me say? Drop Bruno. I don't care who starts. I don't care who's on the bench. I want to win. I'm a Manchester United fan. My agenda. So that's why I'm not looking at this. People that are being over scrutinizing the flow isn't quite there, and that's got to be better. Of course it has. But the most important thing for us to build was a shape that was hard to break down, a shape that isn't conceding loads of goals, and defensive stability first. And you add on from that foundation. And it's 3 games. Don't get carried away, but it's a lot better. Tom, you obviously watched from a Liverpool fan's point of view. What did you make of it?
I was going to touch on the centre-back's point because I think in terms of a partnership, them two complement each other perfectly. Whereas Martinez is more aggressive and will step up. Varane is so good at covering for him. And with the shape your team is taking up, i.e. the players that are going to come in, the system that you're playing, your team looks incredibly well balanced. And that's a worry. That is a worry as a rival because every part of your team is symmetrical in shape, and that's only a good thing. Malacia is very comfortable staying back, and being a little bit more conservative, whereas Dallo will bomb on. But then the centre-back partnership aligns the exact same way. Martinez, left side of the centre-back, will bomb on. He's got his left back for cover if needs be. Varane will cover, whereas the right back will bomb on. In terms of defensive balance, you're perfect. How Casemiro will fit in, I don't know. I think he'd be very hard done by to move Eriksen out of the position he's in. I think what he's doing in that position right now is very important for that United team.
Why are you mentioning Eriksen, bro? There's a clear replacement for Casemiro. It's not hard. It's not hard rocket science how to get him in.
I'm not. Yeah, obviously, McTominay comes out, Casemiro comes in. It's not about who plays next to Casemiro. I think Eriksen can still do that job, and I still think Eriksen should be given the chance to prove that he can do that job because he offers something that's a lot different to McTominay and Fred. Then will offer you the legs, so they'll give legs for Casemiro to work around. Eriksen will give you ball retention, and it's what Ten Hag values more in that game. And Anthony coming into that attack, it just looks really well balanced. My only question mark is the striker. Rashford, he's all right there, but it's clear it's not his favourite role. Martial is quite good when he plays there, but he's injured, and you've got to worry about attitude and all that stuff. And Ronaldo, he's the best striker you've got, but in terms of link-up play, we saw a little bit of it today. I thought he was bright when he came on, but for the long term, I don't think Ronaldo works. So how you'll deal with that striker situation for the rest of this year is something that does intrigue me. But in terms of everything else, you're looking promising. You're looking really, really promising. And there's positives to take out of this past 3 games. When you've got over that hump, Ten Hag's starting to get through to this team. And that's the big thing at this stage.
Right. Yeah, this is the thing. We're making steps forward. There may not be great, massive leaps where we've gone from losing 4-0 to smashing teams 6-0, but we're taking progression forward. And I don't see what else they expect from us. You know, literally, I don't see how they expect us to jump up so much. I mean, like, well, you see, like this is it now. Like, no, it's going to take a bit of time.
And you're spot on about that. Sorry, Dizzy. This was great ranked as the worst Man United team since World War II, which is nearly 80 years ago. So in 80 years, which is what, 3 generations of people, it's been the worst Man United team. And people expected us to go from that, getting battered by Brighton, humbled, embarrassed, and slapped apart from Brentford, to playing like peak 99, peak 08, Man United in the space of not just space of 3 games, in the space of 2 weeks, when we haven't actually yet integrated properly any of our holding midfielder and any of our new attackers. We haven't known what's been going on with Ronaldo. And I'm pretty sure with Ronaldo being the person he is, I think what he'll now do as a professional that, by the way, wants to score, wants to win games, he'll get his head down and work because he hasn't got his move away now. He isn't going to want to be part of a Man United squad he doesn't want to be there and not score goals. He wants to keep adding to that tally, especially with Messi doing well this year on the GA. Like, Ronaldo's going to want to get involved, and he almost got a brilliant overhead kick tonight. And that will help Man United. You know, now his head's back in the game, as it were. But anyone that's expecting this Man United team to suddenly be the very best Man United they've ever seen in their lives, I don't even think they're being intellectually dishonest. It's like, we're not meant to be from as bad as they were to as good as you expect inside 3 games. It's crazy. But it is better. Let's go to some more of these comments. I want to put these guys to yourselves. Captain Bruno ran and was involved, kept the ref in check. Yes, he did.
That ref was questionable.
Questionable at best, for sure.
Yeah. Defense was good, but the attack isn't clicking at all. Martial is the glue. Would like to see him and Ronaldo play. Felt we got a little rattled in the second half.
We didn't get rattled in the second half. We got complacent in the second half because we had that first 5 minutes of the second half where we looked like we was just about to score at any time. We was passing the ball and was doing it. And then what happened is loose ball. And then it gives Leicester the attack. I literally said to my dad, we need to stop doing this because this is how these guys get confidence again. And then that's when I had that good 15-minute spell that they looked like they could maybe do something. At the end of the day, we weren't really challenged that much. Like, their best attempt was a free kick.
Yeah.
But we weren't rattled. We got complacent. We just need to focus.
I agree. A challenge to me that said he made Harry captain as well. See, no, didn't. Ten Hag was smart. We now know what Ten Hag did by keeping Maguire. So I've been making a list of all the things that he has done and the Glazers have allowed him to do. over the course of the last little while. And the reason that I've done that is because a list, you see a long list there of Glazer changes, things that he's been allowed to do. And I keep adding to the list. And the reason that I'm making this list is because what's going to happen if we get better is people will say, see, I knew all we need was a better coach, without looking at all the changes that have been implemented at the football club to help us get there. And one of them was this case of, he didn't call out the players and do what all the idiots said. Just call your players you don't like crap. Do you remember how angry Man United fans were? Do you remember how angry they were when he didn't, in his first press conference, to denounce Maguire, say he was selling him and strip him of the captaincy? And what he did is say, you're the club captain. I'm not taking it away. There's a lot of screw. I guarantee I know what he said to him privately, not word for word, but I bet he said something like this. I know what people have said about you. I know what I've read about you. I know what I believe. What do you think? Tell me. Okay, you've told me. Well, I'm going to keep you as captain. I'm going to give you some games to prove that they're not right and you're correct. Show me. He had 2 games, showed the manager, who's then gone, I'm putting you on the bench. Now, he hasn't stripped him with the captaincy, but if you ain't playing, you ain't the captain. It doesn't really matter. Fair enough. When Man United go to like a corporate event, he'll probably be the lead person talking still because that's tradition because he's the club captain. But it doesn't matter. He will not get back into the starting lineup in terms of regular first team football with the way the other 2 are playing. And he won't be the captain come next season. So him being allowed to stay as the captain early on, it meant nothing. And he's the first manager I've seen really since Fergie that's dropped whoever our captain has been. There was times where Rooney was captain and he was playing poor, wasn't being dropped. Maguire went through a period where he was playing poorly, but he wasn't being dropped. This is what you want to see from your manager.
This is a manager who's got flipping experience and football IQ and how to run a football club. You know what I mean? People are coming in here expecting to do up Jose and Ralph, skinning the players, and then expect, he's going to trash on all the players, but all the players are going to play for him. That don't make no sense. We've just seen with Scott Parker what happens if you just call out everything.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like, this is what would happen. Ten Hag comes in and says the owners have been crap for 10 years. I'm going to try and change it, but I don't know if they'll listen to me. He'd already be gone, and then you'd be like, "Well, we've just got." You have to. Anyone that says you should just call out the manager, I would love the people that say this. I'd love them to set up a little camera in an office. I want to see them. Now, in fact, we don't need to do it. I want to see you tonight. Everyone who hates your boss and your job, go on Twitter tonight and tweet about how bad your company is. And then tell me what happens. And then tell me what happens to you tomorrow at work. At them as well. Yeah. Tell me what happens to you tomorrow at work.
And not for nothing. The other really big decision he's made is drop Ronaldo and leave him on the bench. And however he feels about it, that's how he feels about it. That's an incredibly big decision that could have blown up in his face, but it seems to be working out right now. And
no, I agree. And Prime here said it's so quiet when we win. When we lose, it's like 4 times as many viewers. Of course, rivals hate it when Man United win. Arsenal fan here. As a neutral, I thought it was a really, really hard watch. Think your passing is getting quicker. Hope we can stop that Sunday. Yeah.
Hard as in it's hard as in it was a good watch for us, but hard for you because you're like, you're worried, or hard as in it was just bad. Like
I think it means hard. Like it wasn't. I don't think it was a good spectacle for a neutral. It wasn't because both teams made mistakes in the final third and whatever else. The irony in it is we were better against Liverpool than Southampton and Leicester, and Arsenal are going to hope there's not an omen in that in terms of we're better. Sometimes you're better against the better teams at these early stages of development. Arsenal fan, but United is in my top 4 over Chelsea and Spurs is what GU.
We got a long way to go before that, my friend. But hey, thanks for the confidence that we don't have.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think I don't have that confidence yet. And I was going to ask you guys, and we'll get onto what we think is going to happen in the Arsenal game a little bit later. But I wanted to touch on JADON Sancho because he's starting to perform. 2 goals now so far this season. I don't know if he's got any assists or not. I haven't really looked at any of the United players.
No, I don't think so.
We haven't scored enough goals really for anyone to have assists, but he's got 2 goals this season. He only got 3 Prem goals in the whole of the last campaign. He's starting to look more confident, and both his goals have demonstrated his skill as well. Rounding the keeper today, and obviously the goal against Liverpool was brilliant. Do you feel like under Ten Hag we're going to get we could get Borussia Dortmund JADON Sancho at Man United?
If you notice something as well, since the Anthony news basically became official or non-official, he switched him to the left. So it looks to me like he's going to be playing from the left when Anthony comes in, and Anthony's going to be playing in the right, and him and Rashford are going to be fighting for it. Yeah, I'm not going to lie, man. I love him. I'm not going to lie. I've hoped for nothing but good things for Sancho just because I like him. you know. So to see him doing well and to see him and you know what it is, it's the willingness to take on a player and try to beat a man and that sort of thing, especially like in the smart way as well. So when it's not on, he'll pass the ball, and then when it's on, he'll take a man on. Unlike Rashford, who kind of like when he gets in his head, you just I'm kicking it forward. I'm gonna try run. I don't care how I'm performing. So yeah, man, I hope for nothing but good things for that young man, man. I love him. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Nah, I feel like we're gonna he's gonna explode on the Ten Hag. It may not be this season. This season might just be the simmering, you know, the preparation. But definitely next season we're gonna see the explosion because this kid is so talented. Like he's so good. Like the touches, some of these touches, yeah, okay, they were off, but some of them balls were hard to control. But some of the touches he has, like just plucking the ball out of the air. I love that. The way that he wants to play, like him and Pete, this is what I mean. This is what I don't get. Him and Rashford love it. Like they are such good friends. Like you can see it on the pitch. You can see that they're trying to play with each other. It may not come off, but you can see what they're trying to do. This is why I'm upset that Martial is injured, because those three together, we've seen what they can do together. But Jadon Sancho is so talented. He's got a good work ethic as well. He was also helping tracking back. He was also covering for his men as well. So he will get the Ten Hag will get the best out of him. I am so sure about that. All I need to see is that 7 on his back. Ronnie, I beg.
Oh, that's not happening this season. Maybe next year. But I agree, man. I agree. I've seen in the last few games, and you're starting to see him look a bit better. And I think, listen, I hope Anthony Elanga proves me wrong. I don't think he's Man United quality. When I say Man United quality, I mean challenging for the Premier League quality. And there, over the course of the next 3 years, that's what we need to develop the squad into. I hope he proves me wrong. But I think if you bring Anthony in, and Anthony is as good as Ten Hag says he is, as he predicts he'll be. This is the one thing about the way we've been attacking for years. We're never potent on both sides. Why? You look at City, they're strong on the left, they're strong on the right. Makes it. Can you double up on anybody? Liverpool, you know, yes, they haven't been great this season, but over the last 5 years, we've had Robertson and Trent, Mane and Salah, strong on both sides, generally in most games. Man United, it's always been, if we've got one player in form, he'll be on the left or he'll be on the right, predominantly on the left, and that's all we have. If we could have Sancho cooking on that left, and if you could have Anthony cooking on that right, teams are not going to know what to do. And the difference between Anthony and Sancho is Anthony has that explosive pace after beating a man. It's the only element with Sancho's game that just isn't quite there. He can get past the man, but he can't accelerate away. If you gave him Rashford's speed, he'd be unstoppable in the Premier League. But I think with Anthony on one side, it's going to pull at least 2 players to cover him. Sancho's going to have 2 players to cover him. Who's that going to give all that space to in the middle? The Ericssons and the Brunos and maybe the Martials are going to have a lot more room and space, and it could be very, very dangerous indeed. And Sancho started the season very, very well. Really impressed with him.
Probably
and happy
the best
for him.
start he's
Really
had in
happy
like
for him
2
as well.
years.
Sorry?
He's got his confidence. He's got his confidence back. You saw when he was at Dortmund, he was trying stuff. And even when it didn't come off, it wouldn't deter him. When he joined last year, I think with the pressure, coming off that Euros, and everything just sort of collected together, bunched up, and his confidence was a bit down. Now under a new manager, his confidence is back up. He's trying stuff again. He's making the right runs. He's not being deterred. And if you can add Anthony, I'll admit I haven't watched much of Anthony. I've watched a hell of a lot more of Sancho than Anthony. But from what I've seen of Anthony, I think you're potent on both sides, but in different ways. Because whereas Sancho lacks that pace, I think he's a much better playmaker. So you open up the options then, where if it's not working down one side, you go down the other, and you get a completely different
allows
style.
to have attacking options from the bench as well. Like Rashford off the bench is as dangerous as anyone. You know, I don't care what anyone says. Like, and he doesn't have to. But this is the beauty of it. If you have a fit Rashford, Martial, Anthony, Sancho, and then Ronaldo as well, you look at those 5. You're like, right, they don't all actually have to. The 5 subs, but yeah, they all don't have to start. You can have a few games of Rashford on the bench, and then there's a game where actually we need to use the running pacing behind,
especially with the Europa League.
And this is the thing, right? One of the great in my childhood, the 1999 team had 4 strikers trying to fit into 2 roles, right? Teddy Sheringham's name is still sung at every Man United game. So whether you want to call him a legend or a cult hero, he's one of the 2. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I don't care what the young fans think of him because he's a manager. He's a Man United legend as a player.
Thanks.
He's super sub. Like I would be in Rashford's ear if that happened, saying, listen, you can still become a legend of this football club. You don't need to start at Man United. If you come off that bench and you impact games on a regular basis, that might become your role. And it may not be exactly. By the way, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did start a lot of games for Man United. It's a misconception that he didn't, but that's part of the rotation thing. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited about it.
And more so to the point, quickly on that, think about as an opposition team preparing to play United. You with 3 players that start every game, you know exactly how to prepare. But with having many options with different styles and that can play in different positions, it kind of muddies the water in exactly how you're going to prepare for the game. So it doesn't make sense to say, okay, well, these are our 3. We're going to play every game with these 3, regardless of the style of the opposition, regardless of how their defensive setup is. We're just going to play with these 3 all season. It makes absolutely no sense.
And listen, people probably in the chat be like, they're getting carried away because they're talking about what could happen and what could be. Like, listen, we understand that for all of this to make sense and for this to work, the players have to show us. You know what I mean? The players have to make it work on the pitch. They have to work hard every game. Have to be focused every game. So we understand that it's not. This is it. This is not it. You know what I mean? We're not back. Right. We're not like, yeah, we're gonna storm the league. But as a United fan, for the last, you could argue 3 years, you haven't seen any kind of direction. Or the direction that we was going in just wasn't the right one. As much as Ollie tried, it just wasn't the right one. And now you see what happens when we have an actual coach. We have not had coaching since LVG.
No, exactly. No, I couldn't agree more. Erik ten Hag is building confidence into the team after last year. The fluid football will follow. This guy's great. I want him back at Ajax. You've been in my top 4 since the start of the season, is what you said. That's an interesting take. I don't understand why people are bothered by the 1-0 win. 3 points are 3 points. We need those types of wins to get top 4. That's also
fans.
Yeah, well, I think some people are so addicted to being angry, being in the mud. It's like, and I said it before, and I don't care if they get offended by it. They know that their only commodity on Twitter is being angry, and if they're not angry and they tweet, one person might interact, and they're addicted to what's that drug in your head called? Dopamine. They're addicted to the dopamine release they get through tweeting something nasty about a player and getting like, oh, look how many retweets and likes I've got. It's bred a generation of football fans that are nasty about their own football clubs when they don't have to be. Like there's no construction to their criticism. There's no consistency in who they like and dislike. There's no logic to their approach. It's just, I'm going to throw mud and crap at the players that Twitter doesn't like, and I'm going to love the players that Twitter loves just so I get attention. And it's sad to see, really. Ten Hag said if Maguire plays well, the boos will stop. Ten Hag let Maguire expose himself. My manager is calculated and 1 step ahead. And he has to be. There should be no loyalty in that regard. His job is, Ten Hag's job, before developing players, the end result is to make Man United win. How he gets Man United to winning, there'll be various things. That we're developing some players, it will essentially be hanging some out to fucking dry, but in a professional way. And the way he hung people out to dry, I'm going to reveal a part of my life here. I never sacked anyone like through your fact. I wouldn't even performance manage them out. I'd give them opportunities, expose them, and I'd always get their resignation. Do you know what I mean? Oh, I'm too embarrassed. I can't continue. You can always resign, though. I've really tried to help you. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea, actually. Or you should start looking for another job. I'll help you. I helped one guy write his CV up to get him out of my company once instead of sacking him. It works. Do you know, he's mad. I didn't want him. He was awful. I helped him get a new job, prepped him for the interview, got him the job. He still messages me every now and then now saying, thank you. He loves me. I'm like, bruv, you a shit. I sorted you out. You're a good guy. Why don't you have my business? But there's more than one way to skin a cat. Rashford was better than usual, but Bruno was making the majority of our attacks disjointed. He will, when he moved out wide, he has less of the ball. He was better. See, I don't necessarily think it was that. I think it was the runs. Like the players were all a little bit together. I think it was more Rashford. I mean, Rashford should have played him. I don't think Bruno was as bad as that, but Bruno went out wide. The reason it got better is because a striker went up front and Rashford went to the left. I think if Bruno would have stayed in that 10 role, it would have been just as fluid. It's because Rashford is like, I'm not going to go at Rashford because he can't do it. He's not It's a bit like the other week when we tried to play Ericsson as the DM. He ain't a DM. Let's not do that again. Do you know what I mean? It's one of them. A question: who's in trouble worse, Rogers or Slippy G?
Bro, bro. Steven Gerrard is a fraud. He's a fraud, man.
Nah, both of them are frauds. Both of them are frauds. That's not the question.
Rogers has just called out the transfers.
Rogers is literally on the edge, bro. He's on the edge.
What did he say? What did he say?
He said the squad hasn't been given enough like
help.
They haven't been given the opportunity to improve in the transfer market, basically, and that's an issue. He's basically had the money, but he hasn't been given anything.
I'm telling you, Rogers on the edge. You know what it is with Slippy G, yeah?
They've spent too much on him. They've got to stick by him. That's the thing.
Yes, Tom. See, great minds. They've spent too much peas on my brother right now.
They've invested too much into him.
As long as we all agree,
put them off now. But as Rodgers, they want to get Rodgers out of there. They need Rodgers out of there.
But something's going wrong with Leicester. Something's happening at Leicester, right? Schmeichel's left and gone to Nice. Weird, right? Yes, they sold Fofana, but they ain't bought anybody. Like, there's talk about £200 million in debt. I think what they've done as a club is they've allowed Brendan Rodgers fairly big. They've not spent masses on transfers. If you go back to the 20. When did he join them? 2017?
Rodgers.
I want to
say 18.
2018. So his first summer they did 100 million, then they did 100 million, followed by 100 million, followed by 60, followed by 60 last year, right? They've spent 200-300 million on his squad. I think they've paid bigger wages than they would like to. I've now heard they're in £200 million of debt. I think the gamble was from him, spend big money pound for pound for our size of club, and I'll get you in the Champions League, because that Champions League money would have paid back the debt that they've got themselves in getting to this point. Of course, COVID didn't help either. And I think they've basically said, Rodgers, you failed in your task of making us a Champions League team. We ain't spending any more money. We're now going to tighten our belts for a couple of years. And I think I looked at their players tonight. The players look like they don't want to run. I don't think they're fit. And I don't think they're fit because they've gone, well, if the club don't care, I don't care. And in the Premier League, if you're 5% less fit than your opponents, you're done. And if Man United were more ruthless tonight, legitimately, if Man United were more ruthless tonight, that could have been a four. If they're playing Arsenal tonight, that'd been 4 or 5-0. 4 or 5-0. Like Arsenal more ruthless right now.
They're in serious trouble. The manager's lost that dressing room. The manager has lost that dressing room completely. The players don't want to work for him.
Did you guys see what James Madison said on Twitter to a fan?
No, what did he say?
Basically, he was wishing Fofana like good luck on his move to Chelsea, and the fan was like, "Oh no, you can't say that. That's disrespecting the club. He was rude about it, blah blah blah." And Madison was like, "Bruv, fam, you can't say it's disrespect when a man wants his move and gets his move and stuff. We're just wishing him like good luck for the future and stuff." So even him saying that with the fans, you can tell he wants out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a bit, yeah.
Yeah, he's sick. He's sick of it, bro.
He's absolutely right. Absolutely right. There are 3 wins in a row for the first time in 9 months. It's crazy. Like and that's the maddest thing. That's why, like, I don't care what any rival says. I don't care if he's like, we are not over. No one's over celebrating. We're not letting off fireworks. We're not like going crazy. By the way, if Man United do beat Arsenal on Sunday,
you're gonna hear me. You're gonna hear me.
There will be a massive celebration from Man United fans at that point.
I'm showing up without a shirt on for sure.
There'll be celebrations if Man United win on Sunday. There'll be celebrations like we saw from the Arsenal fans last week. Like there was from Liverpool last night. That's the level of celebration that you get. I think Man United fans almost want to hold back until they get even they even want to win a game really well. Like, you know, if we'd have won 4 or 5-0 tonight, I think you'd see that Man United fans have got all this pent up aggression from the last year plus that they need to let out at a particular result, and I think that will come. But I did want to ask you guys. I'll go to Dizzy first. How do you feel the game on Sunday against Arsenal is going to go?
Man, I'm not gonna lie to you. I am nervous. There's 3 things I hate in this world more than anything: Liverpool, Arsenal, and paying taxes. Those are the 3 things I hate more. I swear on everything. If anyhow, but I don't know. I think it depends. If we come out the way we came out against Liverpool, I think we could do them, because I think with the injuries that they've got in their midfield, they might be a little bit more malleable, especially with the overconfidence that they might go into, thinking that they might just roll us over. I think I think we might be okay. I can see a draw, but I'm praying for a win, man. I'm not gonna lie. I want to show up without my shirt on. That's my dream right now.
Like we obviously spoke about it earlier on the top 6 show, and I kind of said that I wanted to see tonight. We weren't good enough tonight for me to go, I believe we're going to win. I didn't see enough in terms of the passing, the fluidity up front, but I believe we can beat them. But what we have to do is there will be, in my opinion, an onslaught in the opening 20 to 25 minutes. That's going to be one of the hardest periods of the season for us in terms of the speed, the press. We need to go out there, and I actually think we need to not hurt them. I don't like that language, but you know the way Malacia and Martinez were with Mo Salah in the opening 10 minutes against Liverpool. We need to be strong, aggressive and strong, but not stupid, not reckless. And I'll know in the first 10 minutes whether we can win based on how good or slick our passing is. And I'm hoping for, and what I do think we're going to have after these 3 wins is there will be a noise from the crowd like you wouldn't expect. I think Casemiro will start the game, which will give Manchester United. I actually think it will give the midfield and the attack more confidence because they know how good Casemiro is. And unless something changes in the next 15 minutes, as far as I've read, although personal terms were agreed today and the player was pushing, it doesn't look right now like Arsenal have signed Douglas Luiz. So they don't have a DM for that game. It's going to be Sambi and Xhaka in the middle. And Man United have got to try and exploit the fact they don't have a recognized DM in the team. So, like, for me, I've been dreading all day them signing another DM and strengthening that team ahead of Sunday because, again, a player like that being missing gives us a chance and an opportunity. But I do make Arsenal the clear favourites. You know, I would make them probably the first time in my lifetime Arsenal are coming to Man United where I go, you are the clear favourites over us. You are genuinely better than we are in terms of how you're playing. But I do have, and ironically, I was saying this so much last season, I just want to go into these games thinking we can win. That's what I would say. Right. We can win this game, although I make Arsenal favourites.
Yeah, I think if you said to me, we draw 2-2, give me that draw right now. You know what I mean? Give me the draw right now because I don't know. We're doing well, but like there's still more building blocks to be had. And to me, to expect like Liverpool was a one-off. Liverpool performance was literally an anomaly in how we're supposed to be doing this season. You know what I mean? Like we need to build more, and I don't know if the team have got it in them to sustain a 90-minute game. Like even today, we played well for you could probably put a total of 70 minutes. You know what I mean? Against a team like Arsenal, who are in like the form of their lives, higher in confidence, they're resolute. Like if they can see the goal, they score within 4 minutes. Like you have to perform for more than 90. So yeah, it's gonna be a very tough game. We can win. I just don't think we will. I just think we draw. A draw is something that I would be happy with. More time. Arsenal will probably be the favourites. And you can't even put it down to Arsenal judge. The years before, Terry, I've been on many previews. Years before, I've said your Arsenal judge will kick in and something will happen for them. There's no Arsenal judge in this round. Yeah. This is just straight up they're good. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's going to be a tight one still.
I've still got Arsenal. That I think today you showed the way you can hold on to results when you're not playing well, but I don't think that'll be enough. I think Arsenal they're riding that wave at the minute where they're so high and everything seems to be going right for them. That I think this could be like the peak of that wave. The first top 6 side they've faced all season. You know, that is the peak of this current little wave. I think it'll be a 2-0 Arsenal. I do think they'll score early, and I think that'll be the difference maker. I think in that first 15-20 minute spell of pressure, they'll nick a goal. I don't know who, I don't know how, but I think they'll nick a goal in that spell, and United will start chasing the game. I just think we haven't really seen you chasing a game much this season, and I don't know how that's going to affect your players mentally.
We have seen it. It's
it didn't work. It didn't work. Who do you guys think starts up top though? That's the question.
I actually will start Ronaldo.
I tend to agree.
I actually will start. There's no need to be doing up no mad press. You know what I mean? Like
One of the things on my list of things that the manager's got right that the club's allowed him to do, and this might not be directly the club, but these are just things I put down. I said he's kept a winning team. He started a winning team 3 games running. However, that needs to change now. He's shown the team that if you perform well, you'll stay in the team. However, we're now going to 2 games per week, and there has to be rotation. Right. So it gives him a great. So I think what would have happened if he would have just, after Ronaldo's pretty insubordinate behavior at times this year, if he'd have turned around and just gone straight away, Ronaldo, you're back in. It sends a message to the team that you don't need to work hard. It sends a message to the team that you can get away with behaving that way. Now, when he brings Ronaldo back in, it's I need to rotate because we've got 2 games this week, and then we've got the Europa League, blah, 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 blah. So I have to rotate. No one's angry about that. They get it. Then if Ronaldo comes in and puts in a performance, he can say, well, I rewarded you with 3 performances on the bounce, games on the bounce because you performed. But Ronaldo's come in and just scored a brace and won the game. I can't drop him based on that logic unless I rotate him. But when I rotate for fitness, you get the chance to come in and perform and keep that starting berth as best you can. That's the mentality we need to create in this team. And I think whether you want to call it a manager having favorites or whether the manager just gets, and I think we did this to Bruno, by the way. I think we got so desperate to win games, we just kept on playing him. We just kept on playing Rashford. I think that Arsenal have done that a little bit to Bukayo Saka, and that's why I'm probably not going to do another stream tonight because I've already done 4 today, maybe even 5. But I'm going to do a bit of a review in the morning of the transfer window. I'm annoyed at Arsenal for not bringing in a proper bit of cover for Saka, and the reason I say that is because I want Saka good for England at the World Cup, and he looks shagged out. And that's because he's playing too much football, or has played too much football for a young player. So I want the rotation from Ten Hag, but he has to also reward performances. So when McTominay comes in and does well, it can't just be, yeah, but he was shit 2 years ago, so it's got to be out. We have to reward quality performances, even if better players are being kept out, because there has to be that competitive nature within the squad. You know, I think there were Man United players under Ollie and even Jose that were like, well, it doesn't matter if I come on in this game and play well. I'm not going to get into this first team. So what's the point? And if that's how you feel in life, if you know at work, it doesn't matter how well you perform, Dizzy, you know what I mean? How many units you sell or how great the feedback is about you. If you know you're never getting the bonus, you're never getting the promotion, you're never getting the praise or the Employee of the Month award, you'll eventually stop trying. Even with
out.
Yeah. And even with professional pride, people still eventually stop because you need to feel that sense of that there is a beyond just being paid, there is light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm going to achieve something. I'm going to get into this team. I'm going to be recognized as an important player, and that's what needs to be bred into this side. So look, I've been impressed with a lot of things that Ten Hag has done so far. However, we have to remember this. We are 5 games into our rebuild, which is a 3-year or so project. So let's not get carried away. Equally, don't let fans draw us out and make us feel like we have to be where Arsenal are right now, or why are you not challenging for the league yet? Like we're not at that point yet. We are useless. Arsenal are pissing me off, man.
The Arsenal fans over this transfer window and this deadline day is gone mad. I'm seeing it in one of the group chats we've got. I'm seeing it on. I'm just like, bro, you man were jumping and raving about being title challengers. Now you're saying your season's done because you couldn't spend 2p's on a DM, bro. Like, come on now, let's relax.
Well, I'm seeing. Do you know what I love about it? I'm seeing Edu out trending, and I'm like, all summer when I'm tweeting saying, guys, this whole thing about cooling on Tillemans to go and get Rafinha, but you'll come back later, and then every 2 weeks that story changes. I'm like, you're being lied to. You're being lied to. No. The PR was out, and the fact that, again, today, the reason they haven't got Douglas Luiz is because they weren't prepared to pay the money. We all know, and I don't like. It's funny because I need to speak to a gal about this. A gal's got to answer for his crimes here because he said all summer, when you buy late, it's panicking. When you buy late, it's because you're not prepared. So they've tried to buy late a player they weren't linked to all summer. I want to hear what he's got to say about it. And the reason that they didn't get the player is because Villa have gone, all right, we're going to stick a stupid price on it. And financially, they might be cutting their nose off to spite their face a little bit here, Villa, because they'll lose him for free. They'll lose him for free next year. But at the same time, I think this is Villa kind of sticking it to Arsenal a little bit and saying, nah, you ain't going to do that to us on the final day. And maybe over the course of the season, Douglas Luiz will be worth it'll be worth the 20-odd million if he keeps right now, if he keeps them up. Do you know what I mean? Like
Terry, they're just saying screw you for Smith Rowe, bro. That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
Oh, talk about PR though. I've seen the greatest tweet of all time for this summer.
Is it the Gerard Romero one?
Gerard Romero, well, he didn't tweet. Manager of Barca tweeted Gerard Romero, quotation marks, I'm sorry.
What's he sorry about?
Because he's been gassing up he's like, something magical is going to happen.
All day,
today.
something massive is going to happen.
There's going to be massive movements. Things are very hot. Things are happening. But nothing happened, bro.
Memphis is staying as well, isn't he?
Memphis is staying at Barca. I'm telling you. Bernardo is not going. All right, bro. I love it, man. Absolutely love it. All right, Gerard,
I know. It wasn't as again. It's a crazy day when you think like Zakaria happened. I'm talking about the top 6 teams. Zakaria happened, Melo happened, but like I think some Arsenal fans. I mean, I'm seeing Edu out trending, and I'm seeing it trend because I think there's this guy that's tweeted here, and he says, "I've kept my mouth shut all window because I was scared of getting cooked, but I can't do it anymore. Our window started well." But with penny pinched, it's ended poorly, and we've left this squad with too many holes to maintain the level we're at now. I'm disappointed, and I love that tweet. I love that tweet because it's a case of we're probably better than we expected to be. And if we went and got Neto, and if we went and got Tielemans, we might have the squad to maintain this level for the whole season. But now you get a couple of injuries, a bit of burnout, and maybe they feel like it's for the sake of an extra 100 million. Arsenal have got 100 million pounds. They really, really have.
They had it for Rafinha. The piece is there. The money is there.
Well, I'll tell you what, this is what they lied, though. I'm sorry to cut in. Go on, Dizzy. I'll speak after you go.
I was going to say, and the crazy thing is, I was just watching, before I came down, I was watching Ericsson do the post-game interview, and he was saying basically we're playing every Thursday, Sunday now until Christmas, or until whenever the World Cup kick off. So, and football is a game of like fine margins. If you drop by 5%, that could be the difference between winning and losing, you know what I mean? So by this time, towards the end of October, Arsenal, if they might be looking really burnt out, like a team full of sackers.
Listen, as a Man United fan, I don't care. As a football fan, I do, but it's because Arsenal fans, in my opinion, now their media won't print this, their content creators won't say this, but I will. You've been lied to. You drunk the Kool-Aid. I called it out earlier on in the summer. This whole, we're cooling on Tielemans until later. And me and KJ spoke off air about this. And I'm like, it doesn't make sense. Why would you risk someone else coming in for him? I said, I don't think they're going to sign him. I can't wait to call Jess out the next time we do Straight Facts. We did about 4 shows where I mentioned, do you really think you're going to get Tielemans? No, we're definitely getting him. They all just drunk the Kool-Aid. And decided to don't listen too regularly to your tier 1 press that's connected to your club. They are telling you what the club wants you to believe. Think outside the box. Nobody would have a player like Tielemans, signed, sealed, delivered, ready to go, all bucket back packed up and gone, we'll leave it until deadline day because we're going to go and sign some other people first. If the money's there, buy him. What you did is you took that money and you went essentially tried to buy Rafinha with it. You took the Rafinha money and tried to buy Lissandro Martinez with it, and you ended up dropping that money on Zinchenko. That's what you did. And then what you've done is I just don't think there's enough left. You decided your budget was going to be what your budget is. You decided that was going to be your budget, and you've strung your fans along all summer. The Neto links, the Pino links, they were there. Spend the money. £60 million. Pedro Neto is yours. He's as good as your current wingers. You then go to another level as a football team. And I I still think Arsenal can make the top 4. If they make the top 4, their fans will look back and go, see, Edo and the manager got it absolutely right. But if they miss out by a minuscule margin, a handful of points.
All I'm going to say is man them are screaming and crying now about not spending money, but yet was dancing to the tune of the Cronkies at the start of the window. And when I challenged them saying, look, listen, you still have these guys, and I know they've done X, Y, and Z, but when it comes to the next step, when it comes to you needing what you actually need, will they get you in your times of desperation or your times of just leveling up? And they've just shown again that they are not willing to do it. Now, they could go on and do a madness next summer. I don't care. KSE are not these amazing owners that these Arsenal fans will think they are. Stop drinking the Kool-Aid and put pressure on these men. Because I've seen videos of Edu sniffing his wife's toes, bro.
What?
That is your DOF. Sniffing toes, my brothers.
Yeah, they need maybe maybe it was only a winger or a midfielder, but I still look at it. They've done 118 million pounds this window. They've bought some good players. Zinchenko's very good. Fabio Vieira, we haven't seen yet, so I'm going to reserve judgment on him. Gabriel's been brilliant. But based on the logic that in the last 2 summers, the majority of their signings have been excellent for them. Neto reportedly top choice. Tielemans, they kept on telling us, has been a choice for 18 months. It makes no sense. And what it does, they're cutting back on the spending. And yes, that would have been collectively maybe 100 million more on players. Less than that, mate. Maybe anywhere between 80 to 100 million more. And that would have taken the spending up to nearly 200 million pounds. But I think it gives you, I still think they can make the top 4, but it's going to be a lot harder without those individuals. And all it takes is Saka or Gabriel to pick up Jesus to pick up a 2-3 month injury, and they might not make it. And then you don't get Champions League. So then you're 50, 60, 70 million pound less lighter anyway. And then you've got to go and spend more money next summer to get yourself back to that level. And who knows what other teams have done around you. I think Arsenal fans are angry because they feel like this is a missed opportunity. You're in great form. The team's in a good space. And you just need that little bit extra to make sure you've got enough. But look, maybe we're all wrong. Maybe the players they bought will be enough. The squad won't get the injuries. They'll go to the next level. But you can tell by the way Arsenal fans have reacted. It's almost like they've kept it in all summer. And now they're going that they're not all of them. A lot of them are feeling like, why have we? Because they all believed it. They all, and every stream I spoke to them, no, we'll do it. We'll get it. No, something's coming. The secret winger. Do you remember for 2 months, the secret winger that's coming? Like, it's crazy.
It was that Ukrainian kid. I was like, yep, that's him. There.
And that they're right there where Arsenal are right now, or the problem that United fans have with the Glazers. They will put us in a position where we might get top 4, and it looks like it's a possibility. But then backing us to actually get to take that next step where you can actually win or like compete for challenging for things, they won't do it. They'll get complacent and just like leave them to the dogs, and then they'll spread lies and propaganda.
Yeah, it's not even just us. Sitting here with Tom. Tom knows about this too. FSG love it. They just do it at a higher level because they actually go and win the league.
And what you're going to hear is, but it has to. We couldn't quite get the right players at the right place with the right attitude at the right time. We are not. It's non-negotiable for us to. They'll throw out all those taglines again. Fans, you need to look at it and go, I know what you're going to say. This is the thing. I know what you are going to say before you say it, because every club says almost exactly the same things. And listen, we could all be wrong about this. I'm still scared of Arsenal. I still think Arsenal have been fantastic. I still think Arsenal have got a tremendous opportunity of making the top 4. They're still in my top 4 predictions. But I think they could have done it, not at canter, but I think they're so much better than Chelsea right now. And I think they're so much better than Spurs right now, and so much better than Man United right now. You throw Pedro Neto and Tielemans into that, and I think the whole Premier League, including Man City, goes, fucking hell. Look at this team coming up from behind. Now there's just a little bit more of, okay, well, they'll get tired. It'll be harder for them. I think we'll be okay. Maybe some of them will feel, but we'll see what happens.
They're so thin in certain positions, and they're so thin.
Window shots.
I thought you'd become a West Ham fan when you're doing that.
No. Also, Wakanda forever and that, you know what I'm saying? Come on now. But yeah, Windows shot, people. Lock off. It's done. Frankie de Jong is not signing for anybody that isn't Barca. You know
what? You know what? I'm happier that he stayed at Barca than he moved anywhere else, because it kind of then it's not really a United snub type situation. It genuinely means that there's an issue.
Bro, no. It's worse because that man still ain't giving him his money, bro. So
Question I've got though. Yeah, I'm about to say, when how am I going to survive now about Frankie de Jong videos?
Oh yeah, every summer you have that one transfer.
Yeah, someone said to me, someone was like, "Oh, you're going to donate?" I said, "Why am I going to donate?" They said, "Oh, you should be going to donate." I said, "No." I said, if he gets paid his deferred wages and decides to leave, I guarantee you he doesn't reject Man United unless it's a Chelsea or a Liverpool or a Bayern Munich. Barca didn't pay him the money. The reason he ended up staying was obvious. Literally, the Man United, the UK media got this spot on 8 weeks ago. They said everything's agreed with Man United. It's just, but Man United aren't offering me deferred wages, nor Barcelona. Let's see what happens. If Barca weren't able to raise the money that they did, he would have been forced out. But the fact is, in the end, they've been able to register all their players and move on from there. It's as simple as that. And it fell apart weeks ago. But I'm not bothered anymore as a Man United fan because we got Casemiro. Like, that's the great thing about it. If we'd have ended up with Rabiot instead of him, then
Terry, There's one moment we was gonna get Rabiot and Arnautovic. Oh, what was this window, bro? What was this window?
Oh, take me back to them. Take me back to them. That was class. That 3 hour spell where Arnautovic and Rabiot were on the cards is your.
This is how you want to know as well. If you know your club is buying a player you didn't expect. We've got to do this next year on deadline day. We've got to lock some people up the night before, so they can't. No phones, no TVs, nothing. And then, like, if this morning you would have wheeled in Tom and wheeled in Jess, Arsenal and Liverpool, and gone, right, you're both linked heavily this morning with a player on deadline day. Name him, midfielder. I guarantee you not one Liverpool fan would have said Arthur Melu. And I guarantee you it wouldn't have been in the first 5 guesses Douglas Luiz. That's how you'll know as well. Like, we're going to do it next year because then we see what people's opinions are on panic versus not panic. Because if it's a player your club's properly linked to, you're gonna have a guess. No one's just gonna like the Rabiot deal was kind of one of them ones where if you'd have pulled someone out of a dark room saying, right, you're not getting De Jong, but who do you think you're gonna go for? No one in their right mind would have said Rabiot. No one. I wouldn't have said Casemiro either because I wouldn't have expected us to be able to. But you never would have said Rabiot. That's how you know your club's capping to you. But having said that, I think Chelsea have ended up with a decent signing in Zakaria. I think I really wanted him at Man United. So I think he could be quite good for Chelsea.
Yeah, no, it's one of those ones where, like, at the end of the day, the window is shut now. You've got what you've got, and we keep it stepping. You know what I mean? Keep it stepping. Like, everyone now can just assess the window. Wait, huh? No. Sorry, safe. Stop chatting. Stop typing foolishness into the chat. Stop it.
What did he say?
Safe and KJ will get married.
No, we will not. Hell no. I'm telling you, Safe. I am not your type. I'm telling you. Don't let it. What are you doing?
Well, I've shared the link. I want to hear this proposal on air.
This would be great.
Equally as well. Do you know who the second most informed team in the league is right now of the last 3 games?
Man United.
And City.
I mean, in fact, no, City got 1 draw, 2 wins in the last 3 games.
Oh, yeah, Newcastle.
Yeah.
In fairness, in terms of the watching eye test, they're better than us. Yeah.
Oh, no. Even though, I'm sorry, I know Arsenal are on a madness. Man City are the best team.
They're winning the league. They're winning the league. Let's not kid ourselves.
They're playing the best football. The fact that Haaland can do drop back-to-back hat tricks.
Oh, no. He's a joke. He doesn't even need the ball. He literally, he got a brace yesterday off 3 touches. 3 touches to the football by whatever minute he scored the second. 2 of them were goals and 1 of them was a pass. How do you beat?
The deadest hat trick you've ever seen from less than 5 inches away from the goal.
Do you know what? Whenever I see Safe gives me. Have you guys ever seen Silence of the Lambs? You know, the guy with the moths. That it gives me that. Gives me that vibes.
Wait, you know. Are you trying to show us your trim?
You see that?
Ronaldo,
man. See that line? What is that, bro? Why you got to go fast? What is it?
Grease lightning in the
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Ronaldo.
You look a little bit. You've got a little bit of a Ronaldo hairdo going on. Actually, I like it. I've got hair now. You like my hair, Safe? I got proper hair now. You see it? No more baldness.
Wait, I know where it came from. It came from your private part. And just to pick up.
You do, just to clarify that rumor. They take the hair from the back of your head. My big brother asked me that when I first got it done. He was like, you know, brother, what's that? Yeah, he goes, is it true what they say? I'm like, what's that? Did they take it off your ass? And I'm like, no. Like, for years, the people always thought they took it off your ass, like out your asshole, and stuck it on your head. I'm like, no, it has to be from your hair. But yes, I've got hair. When are you going to sort your eyebrows out, Safe? Because those things are massive, bro.
No, man, I like it thick, man, because the ladies like it thick.
Wait. If the ladies like it thick, Safe, why are you moving to me, bro?
Well, just joking. I just said that as a joke so that I come on air because I had to.
What do you want to say? 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 We should do a little segment of the show. We should do a segment of the show that you come on, and we call it the Terrace Safe Space.
Thanks.
What are you saying?
Pistol for the transfer window. Very pistol.
Why?
United transfer window.
Because at the end of the day, we don't have a number 9 striker. We're relying on Marcia. We have a player, Rolando, that is similar to Queen Elizabeth. He or she cannot run.
Queen Elizabeth?
Very slow. Okay. We are relying on inside forward to get our goals. That's a disgrace. So we should have number 9 strikers that can get goals for us. And if Marcel is injured and if we play a big team like City, Chelsea, we're gonna struggle to beat them.
We're gonna struggle to beat them
like
regardless.
Liverpool.
Well, I mean, at least Liverpool. Last year when they had Mane and Salah, they had a number 9 striker that was coming off from the bench like Jota, and he was getting the goals for them.
So we don't. So we have Martial and Ronaldo that are number 9s.
Yes, but Ronaldo's shit is too slow.
Why are you copying his haircuts if he's so rubbish?
Because I felt like it, mate. I mean, that Romanian lady, she said that should I make you the Ronaldo haircut? I said, okay, then go ahead. I'll pay 20 quid for that, mate.
200 quid.
200 pounds.
20.
All right. Mate, honestly, £200. It looks like your hair's been cut by the council, bro. Do you know what I mean? It's one of them ones.
No, but I mean, what do you think, Terry? I mean, do you think we can?
I think you are capping. I think you're very happy with that window. Could it have been better? Yes. I actually heard the commentator say this before the game kicked off, because Man United have now completed their rebuild this summer, and I laughed and went, "We're 2 more summers away from having the squad we want. We were never fixing all our holes in one summer. Anybody
we don't have a number 9.
But listen, you're not listening. Again, this is what people like you do. You don't listen. We were never filling all our holes and problems in one summer. So, of course, if you get to the end of the window, you can find what's still wrong with the squad and go, I'm annoyed because that weren't fixed. We were never fixing it all. And people go on about, oh, Nottingham Forest signed 19 players. Spurs signed 8. How many of Nottingham Forest players? We could have signed 19 players if we bought the quality of player Forest bought. You are not buying 19. You're not buying 19 players of Lisandro Martinez's quality. You're not doing it in one summer. So it's bullshit at the moment.
Can I just educate you here, right? Because you come on air and you talk a lot of crap. That was a European team. Okay. That signed 11 players. I think it was Ajax a couple of seasons ago, and they won the Champions League and the league at that time.
So Ajax won the Champions League when? They haven't won it since the 90s, you moron.
No, I remember there was.
You're talking about Inter Milan winning Serie A.
Yes, Inter Milan. There's an 11 players, and they won the league and they won the Champions League at the time.
They did not win.
And Terry's coming.
Inter Milan did not win the Champions League.
They did not win the Champions League. They didn't even make it.
Why are you wait, how are you educating me?
Because Terry, he talk nonsense all the time. He talk nonsense.
But your example wasn't even true. Like, my point to you is this: do you think it was possible this summer to sign 10 players, 11 players, one for every position of Lisandro Martinez's quality, Casemiro's quality, and above? Was that possible?
Yes, if the transaction has happened during the February period, then yes.
So we didn't have the manager in by then. So 11 players at an average of £50 million. So you expected Man United to spend £55 to £600 million this summer on players?
Well, I mean, if they had the money, why not? Because Manchester United
we haven't got 600. We only turn. We haven't got 600 million players. What are you talking about? This is the point I'm making. We were never fixing all the holes, and this is what people like you would have done. If we would have got the number 9 striker, you'd have gone, yeah, but no goalkeeper. If we bought the goalkeeper, you'd say, yeah, but we didn't get a new centre back. Whatever position. This is what the mushrooms do. Whatever positions we didn't buy.
I'm tomatoes, mate. I'm not mushrooms.
No, mate. Your brain's a tomato. I'm telling you that now, mate. You're coming. Listen, anyway, my friend, thanks for coming on.
Hold on. One more thing. Yeah, if Dillet gets injured, do we have a right back? We don't have a right back.
We have Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
Yes, but the guy is shit. He isn't as
good.
By
the way, what year did they sign 11 players and win the league?
2020?
2019-20, they signed a lot. But even then, though, I don't know their team. How many of those players were like first teamers? Because they've signed players on there. Like, there's loads of players on there for like £1 million. Like bare players on there that barely cost any money. Like, they just like filled the squad out. How many of them were like first team players playing regularly that are actually going to improve the team? Because again, we could have signed 20 players this year. Do you know what I mean? If we've gone out and signed some player, if we'd have gone out and signed
Ashley Young,
if we'd have gone and signed a 36-year-old Ashley Young, if we'd have signed 4 players like that, Man United fans would be doing their nut. So it's all nonsense. Anyway, Tomato, we'll see you again soon. Cheers, safe, top man, top man. Cheers, all the best. What a guy! I love the guy. I love him. Listen, everyone that has tuned in, a big thank you. We will have some transfer reviews tomorrow. We've got 12th Man's on the terrace tomorrow. Straight Facts with Jessica Black and I as we gear up to a weekend. And Champions League football returns next weekend. Very excited about what we've got. So the new set probably won't be ready for it next week. We've only just got the deal signed off. But what we've got coming for you for the every Champions League night between now and the end of the season is going to, I'm so excited about it. Got some level changes as well that they're very excited about that, and a few other deals that we've got going on. People really am. Dizzy, Young Thomas, that's 3 times in a day that we've seen each other. KJ, I always see your mug. Viewers, thank you. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. Smash that like button before you leave, by the way. Subscribe to the Football Terrace, and we'll see you